Coming up on this week's Weird News, we have stories about Area 51, a sheep needing a haircut, a man and his food, and a racist tap.
And now, it's time for this week's Weird News with Daniel Bryan.
Welcome again to this week's Weird News, your source of weird and wonderful news from around the world on a podcast. You join us today for episode 27. Schools are back in the UK and there is a chill in the air as we now move from summer into autumn, or fall for our American listeners, who evidently are probably our biggest market for downloads. So thank you and welcome along. Today on the show, we have 4 news stories from the past week that made the news that were a little bit interesting or unusual. You may have heard some of them already, or you may have not. And that's what I believe is great about the show, that you can go away with knowing a little more than when you started. And you always have that conversation starter. Oh, did you hear about the woman who got a birthday cake made and her phone auto-corrected the word blonde to blind? But before we get on with today's show, for anyone who missed our last show, which was actually a bumper double bill, here's a summary of what you missed. On our last show, our first story was about a TripAdvisor review left for Ben Nevis, where the writer was not best pleased. Our second story was about a birthday cake that was made incorrectly due to a texting autocorrect fail. Our third story, a man who built a homemade mobile mast so he could have faster broadband. Our fourth story was about a man who returned a stolen sign to his university 11 years after stealing it on a drunken night out. There's more. Our fifth story was about a woman at an airport security who didn't want to throw her £150 bottle of whiskey away. Our sixth story was about a woman who was buried alive by accident, only to then die when she woke up inside the coffin from lack of oxygen. Our seventh story was about a woman who has moved out of her apartment and is now living on a train. And our final, 8th story last week was about a beauty treatment in Egypt, where you get buried in blisteringly hot desert sand up to your neck. And to top all that off, we were honoured to play a song by an artist called Tommy Lloyd from the UK. The song was called I Won't, and it's really rather good. If you missed it, go and download our last bumper episode from our website at www.thisweeksweirdnews.com, or download the podcast from all the major platforms. But now, onto today's show, where it's time for the weird and wonderful news over the last week that you may have missed. Our stories today come from week 36, 2015, or as some of you may prefer, the 31st of August to the 6th of September.
Story number 1.
Area 51 in Nevada has been synonymous for suspected alien activity for years, and the secret government facility is believed to have covered up alien landings back in the 40s, and since then, something's been going on there. Well, the Sheehan family live next to the site, and the land has been in their family for around 130 years. For over 60 years, since all the goings on, they've remained silent about anything that's happened at the site. Whether they were persuaded in some way, we're not quite clear, and I guess we'll never really know. But they've chosen to speak out now, in light of the government base trying to buy their land for a reported £3.4 million. It would appear the military base has been after the extra land for some time, and each time the family has rejected the bid under the grounds that there is so much family history there and they want to keep the land. The family have spoken out ahead of making claims for compensation against the military base, after claiming to have suffered abuses and atrocities dating back from the 1950s. Some of the atrocities refer to their mill being bombed by a military jet, and the remainder of their property being covered in radioactive fallout from an above-ground nuclear missiles test. Bullet casings are littered across their land, and relatives of the family have been restricted access to the site by armed guards, even though they were with a 7-year-old girl who was traumatised by the whole experience. The family are now being threatened that if they don't accept the £3.4 million deal, that a compulsory purchase order will be placed on the land and they will be evicted forcefully. The military claim that the land is required for maintaining security and the safety of others around the site. Or do they think they're too close and they may see too much? So what do you think? What are they up to? And is it more secret stuff that they don't want anyone knowing about? Or is it indeed just for a safety concern? And maybe they just need more space to do their tests? Let us know what you think.
Story number 2.
A wild sheep was found this week near Canberra in Australia that was struggling to walk, and by veterinary opinions would not have lasted the summer. But what was wrong with it? The ram in question had not been sheared in what was believed to have been 7 years, and as a result, the layers and layers of wool it had produced had become unmanageable for the poor little fellow. Walking and feeding for him were almost impossible, and a champion shearer was needed to tackle the almighty haircut. The man chosen for the job was called Ian Elkins, who has been shearing sheep for years. It usually takes him 3 minutes to shear a sheep, with a wool yield of around 5 kilograms. However, this was going to take substantially longer. It needed the help of 4 other people, and took a whopping 45 minutes to finish. But the most impressive thing of all was they actually managed to break a world record for the weight of wool removed from one sheep. There was so much wool it took 2 passes to get it all off, and once it was off, it was weighed. It came in at an astonishing 40.45 kilograms, beating the last record by a massive distance, which was 27 kilograms, from a man called Shrek from New Zealand. The wool itself actually weighed more than the sheep did, so you can imagine why he would have been struggling to walk and to get around. The sheep has been nicknamed Chris, and is said to be doing fine after his trim, and has no signs of infection or injury, and has gone from being a very shy sheep to one that enjoys a good cuddle. Maybe this is his way of saying thank you for releasing his burden. You can become part of this week's Weird News. This section of the show could be dedicated to you. Sponsor the show and we can fill this section with a tailor-made advert just for you. Reach your audience in a different way with the power of a podcast. We are open to your ideas, so get in touch at thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com. Get on board with us now as our listeners grow and we can reach more and more subscribers together.
Story number 3.
Some people say you shouldn't come between a man and his food. And to an extent, they're probably right. For one man in California this week, he demonstrated his bond for food to a level that you probably wouldn't imagine. It was 3 a.m. and a fire had broken out in an apartment adjacent to Robert Wright's family home. Mr. Wright happened to be up and in the kitchen making some food, as he was hungry, while his wife and 6-year-old daughter were fast asleep. The alarm was raised and he immediately went to wake his wife and daughter to get them out of the apartment. Once they were safely outside the building, Robert's mind wandered back to him being hungry again. Then he remembered he was cooking ribs. Back into the burning building he went to save his precious ribs. Mr. Wright later said to reporters,
"I got my kid and wife first, then I thought about my ribs. I didn't want to let them burn. I take pride in what I do, man."
So although dangerous to go back into a burning building, Mr. Wright was actually okay. He did breathe in some smoke, however, but after a quick checkup and some fresh air, he was fine. A man and a child were taken to hospital and treated for smoke inhalation, but no one was seriously hurt. So do you have an attachment for food like this? I can think of a few people I know that would probably do something like this in the name of food. One of which I work with. You know who you are.
Story number 4.
Racism has been a touchy subject for many years now, and over time, people's acceptance of others has increased massively. Where there was once separation, there is now a diversity. But it would appear not everyone has progressed along with the rest of the world, and still openly expresses racism to others. A video has been uploaded to YouTube from Atlanta, from a bathroom in the Marigold Marquis Hotel, and features a man with black skin and a man with white skin. Now, you all know these modern bathrooms nowadays, there is often no longer control on the tap, and it's all done by a sensor underneath to start and stop the flow of water. Similarly, there are also automatic soap dispensers. All, I guess, with the understanding that without a physical contact by 100 or so hands a day makes the process slightly more sanitary. Well, the soap dispenser in this very bathroom in the Marigold had a sensor just like this. The video has been seen by over 293,000 people. In the video, one man says,
"Alright, so watch this."
He then puts his black hand under the tap to dispense soap. Nothing happens.
Black hand, nothing. Larry, go.
Larry, a white man, then puts his hand under the tap, and sure enough, soap is dispensed. They do it again, and they get the same result. So can fixtures and fittings be racist? Have you ever had any other everyday items be racist to you? Get in touch with some of your views.
Racist mother sinks.
And there we have it. This week's 4 news stories that I hope you enjoyed enough to tell your friends and to get in contact with the show with your views and comments. Send comments to
Email thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com.
or comment on any of our social media pages.
Comment on Facebook at facebook.com/thisweeksweirdnews or on Twitter @weeksweirdnews.
Or you can go to our website where you'll find all these contact details and more about the show. Go to
www.thisweeksweirdnews.com.
Before the end of the show, we have some more TWWN music for you to enjoy.
TWWN Music.
TWWN Music is the part of the show where we showcase up-and-coming talents in the music world and play one of their original tracks. Then, if you like what you hear, you can check them out further from our website and listen to some of their other work, or even go and buy their album. If you're an artist or a band and you'd like to be featured on a forthcoming TWWN music, get in touch at thisweeksweirdnews@gmail.com. On TWWN Music this week, we have a young artist called Mary Desmond, and it's our first song which features a second artist called Kyle Reynolds. Mary herself started out singing acting long before a lot of our TWWN featured artists. At just the fragile age of 3, she knew she wanted to sing and act. At age 4, she sang a duet with Pat Boone and appeared on the Larry King live show. As she grew up, she had numerous acting and singing appearances, one of which was even on the national Broadway tour of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. She was part of a band called Fusion Beat that played 85 live performances and won the OC People's Choice Award for the Best Youth Band. On to today, where she has an active YouTube channel and over 42,000 subscribers, and has a lot of music video covers as well as original songs that are well worth going and checking out. Featured on the track with her today is also Kyle Reynolds, who is from South California. His parents divorced while he was young, which led him to search for the meaning of life, which he went on to discover through music. Kyle taught himself piano through YouTube video guides, which show you that you really can learn anything from YouTube. He went on also to learn guitar and the harmonica. He's now gone on to write his own songs, as well as Mary, and he's also got a YouTube channel. He currently has an EP out called Simple Things that you should also go and check out. So the song being played today is called Walking in the Summer. Have a listen and see what you think. Then, after the show, go to our website at www.thisweeksweirdnews.com and go to the TWWN music page. You'll be able to listen to Walking in the Summer again and you can follow links to both Mary and Kyle's social medias and YouTubes. So, that's it for today's show, and to play us out this week is Mary Desmond, featuring Kyle Reynolds, with Walking in the Summer. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, as we're taking a break for 2 weeks. So we'll see you then.
I feel the summer breeze when rolling through the trees. No one can stop me now. 'Cause we are in perfect harmony. Though the water hits our feet, nothing can beat right now. Oh, 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 blue sky reflected in your eyes. Oh, 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 love's an island, our own paradise. We'll be walking in the summer, not a worry in the world. We got each other, sleeping in, we'll be hiding under covers. We'll be doing just fine. We'll be walking through the green grass, grab a blanket, we'll stay until the daylight, till the night falls. Shooting stars, one after another. Loving you is like walking in the summer. Let's go, let's run away. Don't mean to overstay, can't get enough of you. The way you dance and move, I cannot help but lose my mind. Oh, 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 blue sky reflected in your eyes. Oh, 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 love's an island, our own paradise. Walking in the summer, not a worry in the world. We got each other, sleeping in, we'll be hiding under covers. We'll be doing just fine. We'll be running through the green grass, grab a blanket, we'll stay until the daylight, till the night falls. Shooting stars, one after another. Loving you is like walking in the summer. Walking in the Walking in the summer, not a worry in the world. We got each other, sleeping in, we'll be hiding under covers. We'll be doing just fine. We'll be running through the green grass, grab a blanket, we'll stay until the daylight, till the night falls. Shooting stars, one after another. Loving you is like walking in the summer. Walking in the summer.
Join us next time for more weird and wonderful news from around the world. Only on this week's Weird News. Goodbye.